Welcome to the Active Living for Life online program orientation presentation. My name is Monika Dolewski. I'm a registered kinesiologist specializing in cancer rehabilitation and chronic diseases, and it will be my pleasure to be your instructor for this online program. The purpose of this presentation is to introduce you to the new online format of the Active Living for Life exercise program and help you prepare for a safe and successful virtual workout. The Active Living for Life program was designed by experts in fields of nephrology and exercise to help kidney patients like you become more active at home and in your community. The program has been developed by the Kidney Foundation of Canada with the help from students and staff from Sheridan College and supervised by me, Monika Dolewski. The ALFL program is generously funded by the Kazman Foundation for Charitable Giving and is offered free of charge to all CKD patients and their support persons. You will be participating in an online version of this program, which was launched in response to the COVID-19 pandemic to help kidney patients increase their activity level at home and achieve their healthy lifestyle goals. The online program is offered through Embodia app, which is an online platform for exercise prescription, telerehab, and continuing education. And it uses Zoom for Healthcare as an underlying platform for communication and program delivery. To ensure successful participation, you will be required to have a reliable internet connection and access to a computer or a tablet with a working video camera and a microphone. The virtual exercise sessions will be offered twice a week for 10 weeks. You can choose to participate in one or both sessions. Each exercise session will be 45 minutes in length and will consist of a 5-minute warm-up followed by 30 minutes of strengthening and balance exercises and 10 minutes of cool-down exercises. At the end of each session, the participants will have an opportunity to ask questions and exchange comments. Each virtual session will be facilitated by a registered kinesiologist specializing in exercise rehabilitation and chronic disease management. And in addition, a second person, most likely a kinesiology and health promotion student from the Sheridan College, will be monitoring the class to ensure safe participation. Every 3 weeks or so, the exercise program will change to introduce new exercises and promote progress in strength and mobility. In addition to the 2 supervised workout sessions a week, you will be encouraged to complete a 3rd session independently by logging into your account on the Embodia app in your own time and following the exercise videos for each program. So what the schedule is going to look like. We will be offering the classes on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. and that will be for the 10-week period. The classes are limited to 20 participants. If we receive a higher number of registration, a second class will be offered at a different time. Let's talk about what kind of equipment you will need. You will be expected to perform standing and or sitting exercises with light to moderate resistance. If possible, we will try to modify the exercises to fit your needs. Some of the exercises could be also performed on a mat or lying in bed, but this is entirely up to you. So here is a list of equipment choices for our workouts. Elastic bands or tubing with or without handles. If you don't have elastic bands available, you can maybe try to get some dumbbells. So light dumbbells are anywhere between 2 to 4 pounds, medium would be 5 pounds to 8 pounds, and heavy would be considered 10 to 15 pounds. Alternatives would be cans of food, water bottles, jugs of detergent, buckets with handles, backpacks filled with books. Some people put those backpacks on their back and do squats with them. Get creative if you don't have the actual exercise equipment. We will also need looped bands, and an alternative could be a regular band just tied in a loop. You will need a chair, a pillow, and a mat if you decide to do some of the exercises on the ground. After your registration with the Active Living for Life program is confirmed through the email, you will receive the informed consent and waiver documents, which you will need to print, fill out, and sign. Please email the signed copy back to us by either taking a photo of the document pages and attaching it in your email, or by scanning the document and maybe sending it as a PDF file. Without this consent form, you won't be allowed to begin the program. After we receive your consent and waiver, you will be set up with a free Embodia account upon your registration. Embodia will send you a welcome email, which will contain a temporary password for your account. You will use this password to log into the account for the first time. In your profile, you will then be able to change the temporary password to your own password. The Embodia account will give you access to the supervised online sessions as well as the exercise videos that you can follow on your own time. Okay, so here, please take a look at this short video. It will show you how to access the exercises on Embodia. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how to access the Embodia app website. In your browser, you're going to type in Embodia app, click, and then you'll go to the first hit, Embodia Physiotherapy Online Continuing Education. So you're going to click that, and it will take you to the main website. On your right side, top corner, you're going to have the sign in button. That's when you're going to click it and go to the patient sign in. Once you do that, you're going to type in your email on the top and your password on the bottom. So this is my pretend patient account. So I'm going to click that sign in, and it will take me to my dashboard. You can see on the left-hand side here, it says my dashboard, Embodia Academy, my performance, my progress diary. You can make notes for yourself as you exercise. If we send you some education information, it would be under the My Education tab on the left here. Then it has my outcomes and then your profile. So when you click your profile, you'll be able to fill in all the information, including your email, first name, last name, and also change your password from the temporary password to your own private password. Now, when you want to access your exercises, you'll go back to my dashboard, the first one on the top, click that, and you'll see mid-page, it says my exercises here. You're going to click on that, and you'll have your programs listed under each heading. So over the 10-week period, we're going to go over 3 different exercise programs. Each of them will have different exercises. So for the first 3 weeks, we're going to follow program number 1, then program number 2, and then for the last 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to follow program number 3. When you decide to work out on your own using the Embodia app, you will click, let's say, on program number 1, and it will have the exercises listed in order. So you can click on each exercise and then play a video of that exercise and follow the instructions. You can see the sets and the reps listed on the bottom, and more information will be displayed if we decide to write them down. So we're going to play the video. Okay, so this is an example of an exercise that you could be doing. You can enlarge this by clicking the arrow button here. It will take up your whole screen. Then you just press escape button on your laptop or computer, and then you'll shrink back the video to the original size. Okay, after you finish, you can close the exercise and then move on to the next exercise on the list. Once you finish all of them, you can just log out, and that will be your exercise program that's done for the day. You can also print out the exercises if you like by clicking this button right here, and you'll have a preview of all the exercises nicely listed, and you can print them out if you choose to. Okay, so now let's talk about how to access the online session through your email. So Active Living for Life online program uses Embodia app, as you saw, for communication and online program delivery, which uses Zoom for Healthcare as an underlying platform. Zoom for Healthcare complies with all government privacy laws, meaning no information is stored on Zoom or any online sessions are recorded in any way unless we get your permission to do so. Before each session, Embodia will email you a reminder that will contain session information and a link to electronic consent form, which you will click on and agree to before starting each session. In the email, you will also see a yellow Start Exercise Session button, which after clicking will connect you to the virtual exercise class through the Zoom platform. Additional information about launching Zoom are also available in this email. Also, if you are unable to attend the class, you can cancel the session at any time. Another way to access the virtual session is through the browser. To do that, you will go to Embodia website and click Patient Sign-In in the right top corner. Then you'll click on the Tele-Rehab tab on the left side panel. It's circled here in the red on the left. From the list of dates, choose the right session to connect to. Click on the Start the Exercise Session or Start the Consult button to access the class on Zoom. Just please note, you cannot access virtual exercise classes through the mobile app on your phone or tablet. You can only access the classes through the email link or through logging into the Embodia account on your browser. The mobile application that you can have on your phone would be only used to access the videos that you want to do independently in your own time. Let's talk about the virtual exercise session. So we would like you to access exercise session on Zoom a couple of minutes before the start time and wait for the instructor to admit you into the session. Upon admission, make sure your camera and microphone are turned on. Change your screen name to your first name. Adjust the camera angle on your device so that the instructor can see your entire body. Click on 3 dots in the top right corner of the instructor's screen and click Pin to Screen. This will enlarge the instructor screen and eliminate the gallery view, so you won't see the other participant's screen. You will just see the instructor's screen in full, and that will make it easier for you to follow the exercises. Just before the exercises begin, you will be asked to mute your microphone to eliminate the echo and noise. You can imagine having, 15 or 20 people exercising at the same time. It would get quite noisy. So this is why we're going to ask you to mute your mics. You can ask questions openly during the class by unmuting yourself, or you can do it privately by typing them in a chat box or emailing them to activelivingbраmpton@gmail.com. If you need to leave the session early, please notify the supervising instructor by unmuting yourself and telling them, or typing a message in the chat box. And when you type the message in the chat box, there is an option of doing it privately, so only the instructor will get it, or you can do it publicly, so the whole class will see that chat box message. Please test your device before starting the program to ensure that your desktop computer, laptop, or a tablet has everything in working order, and that the space that you are planning to work out in is well lit and visible. Download the Zoom application on your device to make accessing virtual classes easier. You can visit the Zoom website and review the user guide if you are unfamiliar with this platform, or just ask somebody who knows how to use Zoom for help. Let's talk about troubleshooting. On occasion, you may lose the video connection, your screen may freeze, or you might be disconnected from the session altogether. If you lose internet connection or Zoom session gets interrupted, we won't unfortunately be able to assist you during the class time. What you can do is try to reestablish the Wi-Fi connection, maybe reset your router if needed, and click on the Join the Console button in the email that was sent to you to connect to the class again. Or you can access the session through the browser. If the class instructor loses internet connection or their video or audio gets interrupted, the monitoring instructor will take over the class momentarily and offer directions while the class instructor tries to reconnect to the session. Now we're going to review the safety and emergency measures. In the waiver and consent form document that we sent you, you were asked to provide up-to-date emergency contact details. Let someone know in your household that you are participating in the exercise class so that they are available should you need help. If you are exercising alone, we recommend having a plan in place to contact someone in case of emergency. In case of injury or medical emergency, the staff will call your emergency contact person first. If the participant is unresponsive and alone, the staff will call EMS. If you have any health concerns related to or as a result of your participation in exercises, please contact your physician and follow their recommendations. To ensure a safe workout, arrange for a clear space and keep all equipment where you can see it. Wear running shoes and proper fitness attire. So no tight jeans restricting movements, no flip-flops, sandals, or slippery socks. Shoes with good traction and support are the safest. Select appropriate exercise equipment. You can test it out at home before the program starts to make sure that the weights are not too heavy. Exercise within your own limitations and at your own pace. And have your video camera turned on at all times during the class. if you feel any of the following symptoms during the exercise session, you should stop exercising. So if you feel very tired, you are short of breath, you feel chest pain, you feel irregular or rapid heartbeats, you feel sick to your stomach, your legs are cramping, you feel dizzy or lightheaded. There are situations when starting an exercise program is not advisable. So you should not exercise if you have a fever of 38 degrees Celsius or greater, which is 100.5 degrees of Fahrenheit. You have changed your dialysis schedule. You have changed your medicine schedule. Your physical condition has changed in any way. You have been experiencing severe nausea and vomiting. You have been experiencing shortness of breath at rest or with minimal effort. You have been experiencing dizziness. You have been feeling extreme fatigue. You have severe anemia, so low red blood cell count with hemoglobin less than 80 grams per liter. You have unrelieved pain. You have joint or bone problems that become worse with exercise. You have unsafe heart rate or blood pressure values, so either too high or too low. And please clarify with your physician should you have any concerns regarding your participation in exercise. Let's talk about exercise intensity, what it is and how to measure it. So exercise intensity correlates with how hard the activity feels to you and is also reflected in your breathing rate, so how heavily and how often you breathe, your heart rate, which is your pulse, measured in beats per minute, whether you are sweating when performing the activity, and how tired your muscles feel, so the level of your physical fatigue. There are two basic ways to measure exercise intensity. First way is to assess how you feel. Exercise intensity is a subjective measure of how hard physical activity feels to you while you are doing that activity, which is your perceived exertion. Your perceived level of exertion may be different from what someone else feels when they're doing the same exercise. For example, when what feels to you like a very hard exercise can feel like an easy workout to someone who is more fit. Using the modified Borg scale table, which is that table here on the left side, can be very helpful to gauge your exercise intensity. It is a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is very mild activity with hardly any exertion, and 10 is a maximum exertion activity. It feels almost impossible to keep going. So to stay in the moderate intensity, you should be somewhere between 4 to 6 out of 10. On occasion, you can push yourself to 7 out of 10 if you like the challenge and if it feels good. The second method of measuring your exercise intensity is with the heart rate. The heart rate is based in numbers and offers more objective look at exercise intensity. To find out what heart rate zone you're working in, you have to go through several calculations, which we will review in a couple of slides. In general, the higher your heart rate during physical activity, the higher the exercise intensity. And studies show that your perceived exertion correlates well with your heart rate. So if you think you're working hard, your heart rate is likely elevated to reflect that. And you can use either way to gauge exercise intensity. Let's talk about gauging intensity by how you feel. We usually divide the exercise intensity in 3 levels based on how they feel to us. During low exercise intensity, activity feels light and very manageable. It requires a small effort. You know you're working at low intensity when your breathing rate is slightly faster, but you can comfortably carry a conversation. You may or may not develop a light sweat after about 10 minutes of activity. You can work at this intensity for an extended time without feeling fatigued. Moderate exercise intensity activity feels somewhat hard, but still manageable. At moderate level, your breathing quickens, but you're not out of breath. You'll develop a light sweat after about 10 minutes of activity, and perhaps you start to feel some muscle fatigue. You can carry on a conversation, but you cannot sing. You reach high or vigorous exercise intensity when the activity feels challenging and creates a feeling of significant fatigue within just a few minutes. And the clues that you exercising at vigorous intensity are: your breathing is deep and rapid, you develop a sweat after a few minutes of activity, you can't say more than a few words without pausing for breath. Another way to gauge your exercise intensity is to see how hard your heart is beating during physical activity. To use this method, you first have to figure out your maximum heart rate, which is the upper limit of what your cardiovascular system can handle during physical activity. The basic way to calculate your maximum heart rate is to subtract your age from 220. So for example, if you are 50 years old, subtract 50 from 220 to get a maximum heart rate of 170 beats per minute. Once you know your maximum heart rate, you can calculate your desired target heart rate zone. The target heart rate is the level at which your heart is being exercised and conditioned, but not overworked. And here's how heart rate matches up with exercise intensity levels. So light exercise intensity would be about 50 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. So that number that you get after subtracting your age from 220. Moderate exercise intensity would be 60 to 80% of your maximum heart rate, and vigorous exercise intensity is anywhere from 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. During your exercise sessions, we would like you to work at a moderate exercise intensity if possible. So here's where we're giving you an example how to calculate the moderate heart rate target zone, which is 60 to 80% of the maximum heart rate. So you will subtract your age from 220 to get your maximum heart rate. Then you multiply that number by 60%, so 0.6, to determine the lower end of your target heart rate zone. Next, you multiply your maximum heart rate by 80%. So 0.8 to determine the upper end of your target heart rate zone. So for example, for a person who is 50 years old, we would go through this calculation. 220 minus 50 equals to 170 beats per minute. And this is the estimated heart rate, maximum heart rate. Then you take 170 and multiply it by 0.6. And you get 102 beats per minute. And then you take 170 again and multiply it by 0.8 to get 136 beats per minute. So you have now your heart rate zone. This person would want to work between 102 and 136 beats per minute to achieve moderate intensity exercise. So how do you know if you are in your target heart rate zone? Well, there are a few steps that you can do to achieve that. Stop the activity momentarily. Take your pulse for 15 seconds. And to check your pulse over your carotid artery, place your index and third fingers on your neck to the side of your windpipe, just below the jawline. To check your pulse at your wrist, place 2 fingers between the bone and the tendon over the radial artery, which is located on the thumb side of your wrist. Multiply this number by 4 to calculate your beats per minute. Here is an example. You stop exercising and take your pulse for 15 seconds. You count the beats and you get 33 beats. Multiply 33 by 4 to get 132. If you are 50 years old, this puts you in the target heart rate zone for moderate exercise, since that zone is 102 to 136 beats per minute. If you are under or over your target heart rate zone, just adjust your exercise intensity. You can also use electronic devices such as Fitbits, small smartwatches, and portable heart rate monitors to accurately read your heart rate and skip counting the beats with your fingertips. It is important to note that maximum heart rate is just a guide. You may have a higher or lower maximum heart rate, sometimes by as much as 15 to 20 beats per minute. Sometimes various medications and treatments, such as hemodialysis, may cause a higher resting heart rate. Also, several types of medications can lower your maximum heart rate and therefore lower your target heart rate zone. An example of such medication would be a beta blocker or calcium channel blocker. This is a time where rate of perceived exertion, so how hard you feel you are working, can be a better strategy. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I hope we managed to answer most of your questions. For any further questions, please email us at activelivingbrampton@gmail.com. We will see you in class online very soon. Take care and have a great day.